Yeah, I just delivered a session at Futurebuild entitled What's the Big Deal About the Circular Economy? And what I did there is try and demystify the idea of closed-loop systems and designing out waste by showing examples of people that have done it. So not only people, but the projects they've done. And I've just finished a 3-year exercise of interviewing 60 people. I recorded the interviews, about 80 hours of interviews with people who are actually designing buildings as material banks for the future, or designing new buildings out of deconstructed old buildings, all sorts of things, showing how the challenges of warranty for a start and performance are dealt with. So it's been really inspiring, absolutely exhausting, and the book comes out in July and is published by the RIBA. I don't think we're very far away now from the mass adoption of closed-loop circular principles. The reason being is that all echelons of government and practice and clients are understanding that, for example, resource security is a thing of the past. Mining for raw materials and getting that stuff processed into things to build buildings is inconsistent and unreliable because of war, famine, whatever. So a lot of people are looking at, well, how can we do the same but not have to extract so much, mine so much, or harvest so much? And the idea is, well, you just reuse the stuff that's already above ground, already processed. So I know of national governments doing this, regional governments doing this. I know of lawyers looking into the logistics of it and doing it, and companies providing the warranties on their second-hand, pre-loved version of products. So what will really enable it, though, is legislation. So we've got enough guides now, good practice guides, but we need the laws to say you must do this. And we can do that, I think. What's really exciting in the UK is we've got the UK Net Zero Carbon Building Standard about to be published this year. Now that will be a sort of set of rules that the construction sector can say, this is how we can responsibly consume our carbon budget. But we take those rules to the relevant minister and ministry in central government and say, make sure that these rules are in building regulations. And once they're in building regulations, it will change overnight. The biggest challenge we have in adopting circularity is understanding what it is, because often I find that clients and contractors are sort of doing some of it already and don't realize that's really impactful. A lot of it's quite straightforward. A lot of people think it's a huge thing because it involves systems change, the change of what we're used to doing into something different. But actually what it changes into is something we humans did right up until about 1950. We didn't throw stuff away so much at all. We all naturally adapted, make good and mended and reused. It was just the way we did it. It's only since, we never had it so good in the 60s, we being in the UK, in the Northern Hemisphere, that we've been practicing like this. So a lot of it is about just remembering what our grandparents and great-grandparents did. You know, out of all these debates we've had, what would be an outcome, I would say that Chris Skidmore didn't retire as an MP and came back as an MP because he is a true blue conservative MP who knows what he needs to know around net zero and is passionate about it, well-informed, and he can affect change from within. Futurebuild's always been an important event for me because it mixes contractors, suppliers, academics, design professionals all together. It's got a sort of lecture series and conference program as good as any academic conference program, but not as dry. It brings everybody together. You've got politicians and students in the same space, as well as the supply chain. Everybody that needs to be put together to affect change comes to Futurebuild. Show me another event like that. Futurebuild has a huge impact on the industry because I've always felt like it really keeps ahead of the discussion and debate. It really understands what people are discussing at the moment who want to affect change. Again, where else would you have ACAN as well as a Conservative MP on the same stage? You know, we're all in it together, and I think Futurebuild has done that for decades now. And sometimes people, they wonder why I get so excited about Futurebuild, because I'm an academic as well. I do dry academic conferences. And it's because it brings everyone together, and it's had that role for 15 years at least.